What is up, everybody? Today's trade cap for August 18th, 2026 in tactical one trade on Apple. And in this video, I'm going to be going over, right, what the market did today, what opportunities there were, and what I saw, right? So overall, today was a pretty slow day, right? Like, not a lot of opportunities, in my opinion, unless you kind of are patient, waiting for like a name's relative strength, relative weakness, right? Otherwise, majority of the names were consolidating, right? Like, especially when you have QQ and SPY just insane consolidation, there's not a lot of continuation you'll find on tech, right? Because usually, right, you want to see QQ and SPY show some clean price action, but you know that is not the case today, right? QQ and SPY extremely choppy price action. And then when we have those kind of conditions where it's choppy on both QQ and SPY, right? Majority of the time, then tech is going to be choppy as well, right? But today we did catch a really nice trade on Apple because Apple was showing relative strength above our key levels. So I'll be going over that trade, right? I'll be going over my alerts, and yeah. So let's get into the video. So yeah, let me pull up the alerts real quick. So yeah, so no pre-market game plan. Actually, I have to post yesterday's recap as well. Okay, I'll do that as well. But 842, only name I was watching is Tesla calls, right? So Tesla, it's actually ended up ripping, right? So Tesla was the only name kind of in the like market open that, in my opinion, that was the only name that was tradable, right? So actually, I'll show y'all, bro. I'll show. So literally, if you guys look at the market open, right? Besides, not even besides, every single name is trash price action. Tesla was the only name that was showing relative strength, that we're clearly breaking above our key levels, right? Probably a pre-market high or a previous high level. I assume these two are. Okay, no, they're together. So pre-market high, previous high level, right? Showing strong, better than strong momentum, right? But the problem is this entry, right? There's no entry. There's no pullback, right? It's just straight momentum. So you have to be very aggressive on Tesla to kind of get entry. So you know you have to be just aggressive. So this name, right? Kind of no entry on this name because we just had a straight a straight $6 move on Tesla. So you have to be kind of very aggressive, especially in my opinion. The best entry probably would have been above this previous high plus pre-market high plus higher time frame node, right? So this area, right, would probably been the best area to long Tesla above if you want to long with his momentum. But again, we just ended up coming back down here, showed no buyers stepping up at any of these confluences or levels. So again, just a little bit trickier for me to trade. No, I just had to be really aggressive if I want to enter. But again, if you enter Tesla, right, you had to be aggressive, and that was probably the only trade in the first 20 minutes of market open I would say that was decent. Otherwise, everything else was consolidating really badly. Now let's go to Apple and talk about Apple, right? So let me pull up the alerts again. So let's talk about Apple, right? So 9:03 a.m., right? Apple calls 310 on watch, right? 9:05 in Apple calls, and then just kind of explaining my thesis because, guys, literally playing with the trend it gets as simple as that. Apple showing relative strength, QQ and SPY consolidation, right? So I want to see Apple show relative strength and like push those higher time frame levels. It's kind of very straightforward, right? And yeah, so TP1 is gonna be at 309.50. And we had a nice pop and then 310x TP, and then that's pretty much it. Like, I'm gonna be honest, I think I'm gonna stop down my trailers at this candle because I had to go out and get off. But anyways, like, just overall, just a solid trade, and you guys can see like yesterday and today, not doing anything crazy, just being patient and waiting for a good risk reward letting it play out, and that's literally all you have to do at the end of the day, right? And yeah, I mean, that is literally a trade recap. I'm gonna be honest, like, it's only 3 minutes past, and that is literally a trade recap, right? There are no questions. No one has asked me questions in like weeks, so there's nothing to answer in this either. So I don't know. Um, but yeah, I mean, that is pretty much a trade, right? Like on Apple, where is my entry model? Where is my setup? What am I looking on Apple, right? So what do we see on Apple, right? So simply, we're breaking above this 5 range high plus, I think, our previously high level. Yeah, so we're breaking our previous high level but let me take a deep breath. Right, so we're breaking our previous high level, right? So that's the first confluence that shows me, okay, you know what? QQ and Spark consolidating, well, this one's breaking our previous high level. Okay, so I'm gonna keep his name on watch. But then looking at his momentum, we were showing above breaking our pre-market high. I'm like, you know what? This has good momentum. Apple has good momentum, right? Even though hard time frame is very choppy, right? I even talked about Apple. I think in the weekly game plan, I said Apple was just trash, right? Because high time frame is trash, right? But that is look at a higher time frame kind of thesis, right? When you look at intraday, right? Intraday's price action is bullish because now we're showing momentum while QQ Spark consolidating. All taking are consolidating, right? This looks like the only decent trade, bro. I think I just broke my fucking foot. Hold up. Okay. Okay. Anyways, yeah. So like you can kind of see why I'm kind of singling out Apple out of any other name, right? You can kind of see why I'm singling out Tesla out of any other name, right? So there's a reason why the names I'm calling out, the names I'm playing, I'm looking at, because they're showing relative strength or relative weakness, right? You guys have to understand that you have to be looking at those names that are showing strength and weakness. Otherwise, you're gonna have no edge in the market. You're gonna have no consistency in your trading, right? So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a trade on Tesla, Apple, right? Funny enough, it actually came back literally to entry, right, in that fair value gap, and end up having that nice move, a nice break and retest. So this one actually probably end up showing a nice 5 minute break and retest on this trade. Let me see. Yeah, so that's a nice 5 minute break and retest. So again, technically could go on that second entry on the 5 minute, but anyways, right? Like overall, solid day for me. I know a lot of people struggle today because everything else was consolidating. So yeah, I mean, if I didn't end up taking, like, you guys realize, like, there's certain opportunities that if you don't take, you will miss, right? So yesterday, if I take SpaceX, right, and SNDK, everything else was trash, right? If I didn't take Apple today or Tesla, everything else was trash. So if you miss those certain opportunities that the market gives you, you're likely not going to get a single trade in that day, and then you just not take a trade because everything else is low probability, right? Like that's why, like, if you guys look at my past months of my trade performance, right, I've taken so many days off because I just ended up missing those days. I've ended up missing those trades. So like you have to understand that not every single day you have to be taking trades, because not every single day you'll either capitalize on trading on the trades that present itself, or you'll the days it's just trash market conditions, right? And it says clearly trash market conditions. I was also able to catch a decent trade on Apple, right? Because I know how to find a to strength. I was patient enough, right? But overall, for majority of traders, they're going to be struggling a lot because everything else is consolidating. So you have to understand and kind of like trust in your system if you want to, like, be consistent in these kind of market conditions as well, right? But yeah, um, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. If you guys have any questions, join the Discord down below. Otherwise, you don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Peace.